As always, I am subject. We have Robert Pablo Wild with us. Don't ask why his middle name is Pablo. Nobody knows. All right. Are you ready, sir?
I'm ready.
In three, two, one. Season two, episode one, go.
Stars Original presents.
Ah, god damn it. Hold on. It started at the end of the episode.
That's why. For those who don't know, this should start with a recap. This is one of those that includes that on the actual episode.
All right. In three, two, one, go.
Stars Originals presents. Oh, Stars. Previously on Ash vs. Evil Dead,
All the
dead
stars are
people
here.
30 years ago in one of the movies. So, for a bit of refresher, for people who may not remember or did not see our first commentary, how did you first watch the series? When did you get to finally watch it, and how quickly did you go from season to season?
Um, so the first season I could not watch because I didn't have stars. I ended up, funnily enough, buying it on PlayStation when they still offered digital video. It was the only thing I ever bought on the PlayStation Video Store. Um, and then, Kyle, no, we cannot stream the movies or something that we're commentating on. There's this little thing called copyright. um, Season two, I think I was the same. That one I bought on Voodoo because I moved over to Voodoo. Um, and then three, I don't even remember, but I didn't finish it because it got canceled and I got bummed. But I did finally go back and finish it. So there was a gap in between.
Nice.
Kyle originally watched it because I told him to, and then I realized how much I hate him. That's okay.
Oh, did you not like
I
this
I
show?
only tell you to watch quality stuff. It's not my fault you don't like quality stuff.
And this show is wonderful.
Show is peak.
It's perfect in its imperfections. But here we have Ruby, who has pink hair now for some reason,
Well, it's
and
to
her.
symbolize that she's turning good.
Oh, okay.
I like this
Because
season a lot. It's not as good as one, but I think it has some higher highs than one. Um, like that episode where it's just the thing for an episode is great.
mm-hmm.
Um, my big thing is I hate that season three kind of undoes everything that this season did.
uh, yes and no. I get that with the Ruby stuff, but I don't know. I'm pretty satisfied with her arc by the end of the season. I don't have too much of an issue there. Though notoriously, this season was kind of a mess in production. There was a lot of infighting behind the scenes with where they should or shouldn't go, and you can kind of see that by the end of the season because it does sort of fall apart. But
Once you go
probably
back to
three
the
well enough.
cabin for a second time, that's when the season loses me because I don't know what's happening.
Right. I do think season three, even if it's the weakest season, I do think season three ends on a stronger note than two does. There's still
Mhm.
good stuff in three.
Hey, look, it's the drawing. Kyle, I just didn't like losing certain characters later in the series, so I was in love with. Like who?
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of people do die in this series, but as far as our main ensemble goes, it's pretty consistent from season to season. I love Ash in Jacksonville so much. He's party man.
The one thing that does start with this season is you can tell like, oh, we have to like strip down the budget now. So this isn't a road trip. It's we're going to this one place and we are going to stay there for the rest of the time.
Yep.
What do you mean spoilers? We've all seen the show.
um I really like where we start with these characters in Jacksonville, Ash getting everything he wants. Oh, the big thing I've always been conflicted about with the start of the season is while this premiere is very good, I've ever since I first watched this episode, I've thought, oh, It would have been fine if we were just dicking around in Jacksonville for like 20 minutes before the plot starts. Because we kick off the plot of the season pretty quickly and get out of here very fast. It's great. I think this premiere is fantastic. It's just the thing I've always been conflicted about where, yeah, I could have gone for just a bit more downtime with these characters for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes before the plot kicks in. Because we're out of Jacksonville really fast when that's kind of what season one was building up a lot to get him here.
Uh,
But maybe that's
so
just me.
I'll get to you in a second. Kyle, doesn't the guy with the mustache and the girl both die later in the series and turn into deadites? They
Uh,
do die, sort of. They do not turn into deadites,
no.
and they come back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this is a spoiler for this season. If you finish this season, you know that Pablo comes back.
Wait, Kyle, did you not even finish this season?
That's
Uh,
funny.
to answer your thing, I'm fine with it because you have to keep the pacing going, and this is only a 10 episode show. I think we get enough done that I can say I'm happy with what we got. I don't need
Hmm.
more of Jacksonville.
But maybe it's just because we are stuck in his hometown for the rest of like almost the entire season that I could have been fine being here for a little longer. Um, but we talked over it. But that's one of my favorite Ash scenes of the show when he's talking to the mom and her daughter, and he's like, "I'm not drunk enough to tell if this is good weird or bad weird." Like, this guy has not changed at all.
No, that's the nice thing is they're very consistent with this is who Ash is at this point.
Yeah, there
Kyle,
you
I
go.
think I
Okay.
watched a season or two. I mean, there's only 3 seasons.
Yeah, it's not a long commitment. Um,
You could probably
but
watch
and like
this
I
whole
said,
show in a day.
it's just that tricky thing with premieres where in the first 10 minutes it gives you everything you want for the show, the jokes and the gore and the action. It's if you're here for Evil Dead, it's like, hey, well, you've waited a while. It's been a minute since season one. Here you go. Here's everything you want in the first 10 minutes. But I've been fine with a bit more build up. I like these characters enough that I could just hang out with them longer. Maybe that's just me, but this opening we get is still great.
I mean, I wouldn't complain. I don't care.
Mm. But I do like where we're at with Pablo's happy. You know, he's making the best of the situation. Ash is happy, but we're consistent with where we're at with Kelly, where she's the one at the start of this who's just not content here. She doesn't like basically hiding out in this safe haven. Like she wants revenge on Ruby, and she wants to fight. That's the big takeaway from season one is Kelly wants to keep killing deadites. That's like her new purpose. That's her new calling, and she just wants to keep doing
I think
that.
this is where
And
it
that's
hits
very
him in the head.
consistent. Yeah. Yeah, you think that's where that gag's gonna go in season one, but here they actually do it with him getting hit with the chainsaw. Oh god. And yeah, everybody is covered in so much fake blood. So much of that in this show.
It's a
I
requirement.
that's a great Army of Darkness callback with using the his belt as a whip
Yeah.
to pull the chainsaw to him. It's great.
The needle drops are great. No, what makes this show so great versus a lot of modern stuff, a lot of modern stuff is like, this is what you want, right? This show is like, yes, this is what you want, yeah?
Hmm. And
Same sentence, two very different meanings behind them.
even when the writing isn't great or there are things that don't make sense, it never fails to deliver on the jokes and the action and
The
the
gore.
character stuff always works. Yeah.
That's why I'm pleading. If you don't want to make, if Bruce doesn't want to do this anymore, just make a Pablo and Kelly movie.
Yeah, could be cool.
I would watch that.
I like these characters.
That decapitated head looks rough. We keep the explosion in the credits. What I
And this
love
is why
about this
Kelly's great.
too, for the most it's most absurd. Why are they still hanging out with him?
I mean, I don't know how big Jacksonville is. They're kind of stuck there. Pablo, I get it though, because he's like a hero to him. He's
Yeah.
still the El Jefe, you know.
No,
Love
that's not even a complaint. It's just it's a very TV of these characters have to stick together. It doesn't matter if it makes sense.
No, but I also think one of the best things about the show is that it's not just okay. This other stuff's fine, but can we stick with Ash, the character we care about? For the most part, the show handles the side characters, the supporting cast, really well. Where you're
They
always
don't
engaged, like you
feel
actually like these
like
people,
a distraction from who you're here to see,
right? Or like we're
which
just padding this
is
out.
impressive because I don't know if you had this when the show was started. I was like, oh god, like he's gonna have a supporting cast. Can it do? Because the best part of Evil Dead 2, which is the greatest film ever made, is that first half where it's just Bruce Campbell in the cabin. Uh,
Hmm.
and I like the second half, but it's weaker once he has a supporting cast that kind of have to dilute the attention away from him.
Yeah, I agree. This gag's a good callback to the first movie with Pablo making this drawing and then the hand getting possessed.
Yeah,
But there's actually a plot reason for it, though. It's not just reference for the sake of reference. Poor Pablo, man, he suffers so much this season because they
and
don't
I
just
don't
forget.
quite understand what it's doing, what they're doing with him.
You don't have to understand it, man. You just have to feel it.
Yeah.
But all that, I mean, I don't know. He got face fucked by that book and then mouth
Oh,
birthed Ruby's babies. Like,
what is this alien? And obviously, this has the greatest cameo in the whole show. Not this episode, but later on when we get Cheryl back,
yeah, it's good stuff.
and we actually acknowledge Cheryl exists.
Yes, it's
It
confirmed
doesn't
that
make
Cheryl
any
exists.
sense, but
Well, that's the most inspired thing about this season, at least the setup of it, is actually getting to see Ash's hometown, what his family was like, what his other friends were like.
his dad is
That
so good.
his dad's perfect, and that's I think some of the best stuff. Just dealing with okay, what was the aftermath of those movies?
Yeah.
Where if you're taking Army of Darkness as canon, he's back at S Smart and seems to be doing fine, but I guess everyone else assumes he was a killer, which logically makes sense.
Well, it's that balance, right? Because Ash is cool because he's Ash and a badass. How much do you want to peel that away? It's the Anakin Skywalker problem. How much do you reveal? Because I've not to get into a Star Wars talk, but what I've always liked about the prequels is I've always kind of suspected that would be closer to what somebody like Anakin would be. He would have to have that like whiny, faulty edge to him. It's not done the best, but I never thought he was like the perfect hero that then fell to the dark side. That doesn't make any sense. Uh, it's so like when you do something like this with Ashes, do we humanize him? Do we reveal that all of this is just because he was bullied after coming back? You know,
Mhm.
and they managed to do some of that, but it's all with that like layer of Evil Dead goofiness to it.
Well, it's also pretty consistent with like, well, what makes this character interesting is what happened in the cabin and what set him on this path. We don't get too much stuff like before that, where it's like here you don't get too many twists or retcons. It's like no. We understand that Ash becomes interesting through his experiences with the Deadites, and that's the stuff that matters. It's the fallout of that stuff that makes him interesting. We don't get extensive flashbacks about his childhood or him being a teenager or
This
whatever.
isn't a Blumhouse movie.
Right?
Oh god, are you
This.
ready for the Blumhouse Evil Dead remake?
Oh no. But of course, here we have Lee Majors as his father Brock, which is just perfect casting.
Yeah. Who I'm not sure if I've seen in anything else.
Probably not. He was a big TV guy back in the day. He was like the $6 Million Man. He
I
was
know
the
of them.
Fall Guy. Yeah, he was the lead in a few popular TV shows and was like one of Bruce Campbell's idols. That's one of the big things Bruce Campbell won't shut up about post the show, and it's adorable. Is he just goes on and on about how much he loves Lee Majors and is happy he got to work with him. He's like, I don't care that the show got canceled. I got to work with Lee Majors, my hero. And I'm like, yeah, good for you, man. I'm glad that made you happy. He's such an asshole. And it does a good job at showing, like, okay, this is where Ash gets all the negative traits. You know, they've clearly been passed down from his father, but they play it for the comedy, and it totally works.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think there is an interesting, if you're like me and like to kind of try to put things together, is at some point Ash wasn't like that, first movie. And then trauma just kind of brings those negative
Mhm.
traits out. And it's interesting because that's what Blumhouse is always trying to do, trauma. And this does it just in the
More
background.
subtly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, get used to this town, because we are going to be here for a while.
For the rest of the show.
Although, okay, I will say, as much as the time travel stuff doesn't work, the payoff to this gag with this homeless guy is pretty great. We'll see if we remember it when we get to part two of this commentary.
Yeah, you'll have to remind me. Wait, doesn't he become the mayor? Is it the Back to the Future thing?
Kind of. I just remember Ash seeing him like when he's younger in the past, and like, yes, Ash does ruin this guy's life. Like everything he just said is true. That's what makes Ash such a great hero. Is he's also
He
kind of
doesn't give a
bad at it.
shit. I've seen this woman in stuff.
Yeah, she's in Daredevil. She was in Daredevil season 2 as like the DA or something. She's a real asshole in that show. But
She's
she's a good
also
actress.
on Picard.
Oh, yeah, she is in that. And I love that she's named Linda.
Uh,
That's so good. Ash just has a thing for Lindas. That's so consistent.
but Robert, it's the My Bloody Valentine 3D love triangle.
Yeah, it is. That's a good
Except
call.
Ash is kind of in the wrong here.
No, that's one of the best jokes though in season 3 when he revisits his high school and he's like, "Oh, I think I met my first Linda over there." He just, which is a great meta joke. Like, oh, he's just known a bunch of Lindas. Okay, that's how you explain all the recasts throughout the trilogy. Is no, it's just a different Linda in each movie. Sure, why not?
This is the second most unprofessional sheriff I've ever seen in something. My Bloody Valentine 3D is still the king. There's a game that I want to play on the channel at some point called Evil Dead Regeneration. And it's kind of a what if Ash doesn't end up going back in time at the end of two
Mhm.
and is thrown in an insane asylum because everybody thinks that he killed all those people. And you get paired up with a midget Deadite voiced by Ted Raimi.
It's so good. The Ash multiverse exists. We just need them all to team up.
Uh, Humble Bundle has a bundle going on of like all of the Dynamite Evil Dead or Ash Army of Darkness comics.
Ooh, interesting.
You can now read Ash Saves Obama. I'm sure that's aged well. It's so stupid.
I can kind of see the resemblance. You tried your best, Pablo. Well, I've got good news and bad news, Ash. The good news is you will save some of these people by the end of the season. The bad news is not all of them.
It's just adorable that he thinks that he's going to save most of them. You've been doing this for years, Ash. They all die. Does this count as a superhero show?
Yes.
Then this is better than Daredevil.
Oh.
This is the peak of like superhero fiction on television.
I mean, Evil Dead 2 is a superhero movie. It absolutely counts.
I mean, I will argue with anyone that that is not a super that is a superhero origin film.
Hmm.
It's a coming of age film when you really think about it. Oh my god.
My face. Get it off
Give
of
me
my
back my
face.
face.
There's a good little poltergeist homage. Guy ripping his face off. Ugh.
Yeah. Ugh. You're freaking out, Pablo.
Yeah. I will say, on first viewing, that did make this season a bit of a step down from one. I mean, just because I will say, Pablo suffers so much this
Yeah.
season. It wasn't that fun for me to watch. Where I was like, leave this fucking guy alone already. But once you see where it's going, it's fine. I can roll with it. It's all fine.
It is my least favorite subplot in this season, but it's fine.
Hmm.
Like if season one is a 10 out of 10, this is like a 8 out of 10 season of
Yeah,
television.
three's maybe a seven. You know,
Yeah.
but I like them all.
There are moments in three where I'm like, this just isn't as funny as like the last two seasons.
Hmm.
The
No,
stuff with
what I
the funeral in three when we get there, I could do without that.
I like some of it. I love his trunk. Just his entire personality is in this trunk.
I love that he still has the Farewell to Arms book from Evil Dead 2. I just noticed that.
That's so good.
Which is one of the greatest just visual gags in that movie.
Oh, it's amazing.
Robert, I think let me check something, but I might have some good news for something we can do soon.
Oh my god. I like good news.
I also like good news. Guess what just came to Peacock?
What is on the peacock?
Nosferatu.
Oh.
We should do something on that. Oh, wait a minute. Peacock just got the Blade trilogy.
Oh my god.
Those have not been streaming at all for months.
Weren't they in Max for a bit? I feel like I saw them on there.
Like a year ago. We should try to do those.
Absolutely.
Ooh, they've also got the Wild Robot. Not appropriate for this channel.
I've heard that movie's great. Peacock is a really good streaming service that I don't look at enough.
Yeah, same. Like they have the whoa, they got the amazing movies.
In twisting.
Oh, they have the Nosferatu extended cut.
Ooh.
I
It's
may
only a
have to
few
watch
minutes
that.
longer, but I'm curious what's added to it.
They got that shitty Candyman reboot. That really came and went, right? Nobody talks about that anymore.
Yeah, I mean it was a modest hit. You know, it did make money, but yeah, it's one of those things that just sucks about now losing Tony Todd, where it's like, oh, now he can't do anything more with that. It's unfortunate.
I mean, we did it without him anyway. Like he's in 2 minutes of that movie.
Hmm. But was clearly added later. But yeah,
That's the
unfortunate.
first movie I tried to do a solo review on, and it just turned me into ranting for 10 minutes about how I hated everything in that movie. I was like, I can't publish this.
Oh my god, they got Kelly.
This is a fun like
I like
set
this set a
piece.
lot.
Yeah,
It's very Army of Darkness when he's in the pit
into the
in that
pit,
opening.
into the pit with you sons of whores.
Have we done a Army of Darkness commentary yet, or is that one we still need to do?
No, me, Dan, and Noah reviewed it, but we haven't done a commentary.
Gotcha. I do like the gimmick with Ruby's children. I like that they can turn into shadows. It makes them a lot tougher to to fight. Run home and cry to mama.
He went a little Elvis there.
Well, he did play Elvis. This is so stupid.
This is the comedy that works in this show for me.
Just such stupid slapstick. I love it. Oh my god, it's a Nosferatu.
These kids are legitimately horrifying, though.
Oh yeah, they're bad news.
Bad News Bears.
Yeah, Pablo this season is just kind of Deus Ex Machina, man. He can kind of do anything. Whatever the plot needs him to do, Pablo's your
He's
man.
he's the next what do they call his uncle?
The Brujo?
Yeah, he's the next El Brujo.
Kelly, no. It's evil Kelly.
You remember when she was just like a Kmart employee?
She's got dreams, man.
That's a great throwback to two.
Hmm.
The throwback stuff is kind of made worse when you think of like Rise, which has some of the worst
Yeah.
callbacks that I've ever seen.
That's, I love this. Yippee motherfucker. That is one
Remember
of the
Evil Dead 2?
yeah. Yeah, we're doing that a lot in this episode, but that's just part of the charm of this universe is we have very specific rules for deadites, but also the walls can bleed. Cause why not?
We have very
Fine.
specific rules for Deadites until we don't.
It's consistent in its inconsistency.
Yeah, which is fine. I will take this over a movie that is so like hamstrung by its own rules that it becomes boring and predictable.
Hmm. Oh my god, it's Lucy Lawless.
Lucy Lawless jump scare. I forget that she's out from New Zealand. So when I hear her in interviews and she's just talking in her normal voice, it's like, whoa.
Yeah, she always gets hired whether she's doing an American accent or a British accent. She always does everything in movies except for her normal accent.
To be fair, nobody wants to hear that for 2 hours.
Oh, I like the New Zealand accent.
Ugh.
Oh my god, she's drowning. Oh, did we talk over the sandwich line?
Yeah, that's why I was like, ugh.
it's, so, it's so good. It's the grossest, most Ash thing ever.
Yeah.
He wouldn't say no to that. This story is really all about parenting when you just boil it down. Why does everyone just want the Necronomicon?
Almost like everything in this universe revolves around a book.
Do I save her because I should or because she's hot? Hmm. Yeah, it's very thematically it's very Alien Resurrection, you know, the children turning
Oh,
on
the
their
best
mother.
alien movie. Yeah.
Mm. Oh my god. It's not easy being the chosen one, you know.
You know, if I had a dollar for every chosen one character that I'm a fan of, I'd have $3. But it's a little, which isn't much, but it's weird that it's happened 3 times.
And I think that's part of the charm of the series too, is they never add too much bullshit to that stuff. Like, well, Ash was born on the third day of the third month, and his mother was actually a witch, or they don't add all this
Are you
bullshit to his
calling out Harry
backstory.
Potter right now?
No, Harry Potter's fine.
No, what I find interesting about Ash is this is not intentional, but in some ways he is kind of a deconstruction of the chosen one uh,
Mhm.
trope. Whereas Harry is just the chosen one, and then Anakin is a whole other. I don't know what's going on there. I think he's the chosen one.
Or not. No, I don't know.
Have you ever heard Lucas talk about that?
Oh yeah, it's. I have always thought there was a really interesting idea in those movies to do an anti-chosen one story. Like, yeah, but what if the chosen one failed and turned evil? Like, that's interesting. But Lucas has always spun it as, well, no, he was actually the chosen one because of Return of the Jedi, so it's all fine. Then that whole thing just falls apart.
There is something interesting thing there, though, of the only way to complete the prophecy is to become what you're trying to eliminate. But at the same
That's a
time,
cool idea. I don't think that's what he's doing.
I don't think so either, because then you could just make the argument that Luke is the chosen
Right.
one.
Yeah.
This is my favorite joke in the show in this season.
Bad memory disease.
Maybe I'm getting that bad memory disease. Alzheimer's? Alzheimer's, that's the bad memory disease.
You want to be immortal. Why? To live
To live
forever.
forever. Yeah, that is a great pilot, or not pilot, premiere.
Yeah, great premiere. Though one change from season one to here is we no longer have really cool animation for the end credits. They're like, fuck
Yeah.
it. Right, we have less money. Just black screen, white text. It's fine. Fuck it. But yeah, great premiere. Good
Yeah.
start.